There is a quiet pressure that many people carry every day, even if they do not talk about it. The pressure to look like you know what you are doing, the pressure to seem stable, certain, productive, and in control, the pressure to have a plan, to move quickly, to show progress, to make your life look like it is going somewhere clear and impressive. And if we are honest, that pressure can become exhausting because a lot of people are not only trying to live their lives, they are also trying to make their lives look together while they are still figuring them out. Today, I want to talk about that pressure, the pressure to have your life together, why it feels so heavy, why so many people quietly feel behind, and why learning to release that pressure may be one of the most healing things you can do. The truth is, most people want to feel secure. They want direction. They want clarity. They want to believe they are building something meaningful. That is natural. But somewhere along the way, a lot of people stop wanting a meaningful life and start wanting a convincing image of one. An image that says, I am on track. I am doing well. I know where I am going. I am not confused. I am not struggling. I am not behind. And when that image becomes more important than your actual inner life, you begin to live under constant tension. Because now every delay feels personal, every mistake feels embarrassing, every season of uncertainty feels like proof that you are failing. And that is how many people start feeling ashamed of being human, ashamed of not having clear answers, ashamed of changing their mind, ashamed of still learning, ashamed of not being fully healed, fully certain, fully successful, fully settled. But life was never meant to be lived with that kind of performance pressure. No one really has it all together all the time. Some people are just better at hiding their confusion. Some people are better at presenting confidence. Some people have learned how to make uncertainty look polished. Some people have built a life that appears stable on the outside while privately carrying anxiety, grief, fear, or emptiness. And that matters because appearances can be very misleading. A person can look successful and still feel lost. A person can look calm and still feel overwhelmed. A person can look accomplished and still lie awake at night wondering whether any of it feels true. But when you only see the surface, you begin to think everyone else has figured something out that you have missed. And then the pressure grows. You start rushing your timing. You start comparing your journey. You start feeling like your life should already look more complete than it does. This happens to so many people. They think by this age I should know. By now I should be further. By now I should be more established. By now I should be more confident, more certain, more successful, more emotionally stable. And while those thoughts are understandable, they can also become cruel because they leave no room for the real shape of growth. Real growth is not clean. It is not always fast. It is not always visible, and it is rarely linear. Sometimes growth looks like restarting. Sometimes it looks like slowing down. Sometimes it looks like leaving something that looked right on paper but felt wrong in your spirit. Sometimes it looks like surviving a difficult season and having nothing to show for it except the fact that you are still here. And that still counts. A lot of people forget that. They think only visible progress matters. Only achievements matter. Only milestones matter. Only things that can be explained, posted, measured, or admired matter. But some of the deepest work in life happens in private. Learning how to say no. Learning how to leave what harms you. Learning how to face yourself honestly. Learning how to stop pretending. Learning how to rest without guilt. Learning how to rebuild trust in yourself after disappointment. Learning how to keep going when life does not look impressive. That kind of growth may not get applause, but it changes everything. I think one of the reasons people feel such pressure to have their life together is because they are afraid of being seen in the middle. The middle of healing, the middle of uncertainty, the middle of change, the middle of becoming, because the middle is not glamorous. The middle is where you do not fully belong to the old version of your life anymore, but the new version has not fully arrived. The middle is where you cannot pretend things are the same, but you also cannot yet explain what they are becoming. And that space can feel deeply uncomfortable. It can feel exposed. It can feel slow. It can feel like everyone else is moving while you are still trying to understand your own direction. But the middle is not failure. The middle is part of transformation. A seed underground looks like nothing is happening, but something is happening. A person in a quiet season may look unproductive, but something is happening. A life that looks uncertain from the outside may still be gathering truth, strength, clarity, and depth in ways no one else can see. This is why rushing yourself can be so damaging. Because when you are too focused on looking together, you may force decisions that are not ready. You may stay in roles that no longer fit. You may chase goals that impress people but leave your soul empty. You may silence questions that actually need your attention. And all because you are trying to escape the discomfort of not having it all figured out yet. But maybe life is not asking you to look certain. Maybe it is asking you to become honest. That is a very different thing. Honesty says, I am still learning. Honesty says, I do not have every answer yet. Honesty says, I am trying, but I am also tired. Honesty says, I know this chapter is incomplete, but I do not need to pretend it is finished. There is so much dignity in that kind of honesty because honesty allows you to breathe. It allows you to stop performing stability and start building it for real. It allows you to stop chasing the appearance of peace and start creating actual peace. It allows you to stop punishing yourself for being in process. And everyone is in process. Even the people who look settled. Even the people who look ahead. Even the people you admire. Everyone is carrying some unfinished chapter, some hidden uncertainty, some private struggle that reminds them they are still human. So, what do we do with this pressure? I think the first step is to stop measuring your life only by visible milestones. Yes, milestones matter. Yes, goals matter. Yes, building matters. But your life is more than what can be displayed. Your inner world matters. Your integrity matters. Your recovery matters. Your peace matters. Your values matter. The way your life feels from the inside matters. Because what is the point of having a life that looks together if you feel disconnected inside it? The second step is to let your life be unfinished without turning that into shame. This is hard because many people have been taught that being uncertain means being weak. But uncertainty is not weakness. It is part of being alive. Some of the most honest, intelligent, thoughtful people are still figuring things out. Not because they are incapable, but because life keeps changing. People change, priorities change, reality changes. There is no final point where a human being becomes permanently certain and never has to reevaluate anything again. So instead of asking, why am I still figuring this out? Maybe ask, what is this season teaching me that certainty never could? That question is softer and often wiser. The third step is to stop comparing your behind the scenes to other people's finished frames. You do not know how long their road was. You do not know what they sacrificed. You do not know what is hidden behind their image. And most importantly, you are not here to live their life. You are here to build one that is true for you. That may take more time. That may look different. That may require detours, healing, patience, and private rebuilding. That does not make your life less valid. It makes it yours. And maybe that is what many people need to hear the most. You do not need to look fully put together to be worthy. You do not need a perfect answer to deserve peace. You do not need to force certainty just to feel acceptable. You do not need to rush your becoming because the world rewards appearances. You are allowed to be a work in progress. You are allowed to still be learning. You are allowed to be in a chapter that does not yet make perfect sense. You are allowed to build quietly. You are allowed to grow without proving every step to other people. Because in the end, having your life together is not really about having every detail solved. Maybe it is something much simpler. Maybe it is knowing who you are trying to be. Maybe it is living with more honesty than performance. Maybe it is choosing peace over image. Maybe it is trusting that an unfinished life can still be a meaningful one. And maybe real maturity begins the moment you stop asking, how do I make my life look together? And start asking, how do I make my life feel true?